verbal language is not the only form of communication. As human beings we communicate in a host of ways, through images, drawings and music, but all these achievements are subtly dependent on language. An artist has to think how to arrange the objects on his or her canvas, and such thinking can employ language. We also communicate, of course, through gestures and expressions, so-called nonverbal communication. This in itself is capable of great subtlety. We can sometimes learn more from someone's body language than we can from what they say. Certainly, if we wish to discover whether a person is lying to us, then the telltale signs will often be small physical movements, such as rapid blinking or eye movement, which are largely unconscious. Experts refer to these microgestures as leakage. Our bodies are constantly leaking information to others, whether we like it or not. Animals, of course, communicate in this way too. A dog can tell from the way another dog approaches whether its intentions are hostile or friendly. In addition, animals also have their own systems of communication, systems which often operate in a similar way to human language. Research in this area has been prolific over the past decade, and, as a consequence, we know a lot about the different sorts of pant hoots emitted by chimpanzees, and the varieties of song used by birds to signal to each other. Such language-like activity does not always consist of noises made by the mouth. Bees, for example, tell each other by dancing where a good store of nectar is to be found. However, it is one thing for us to know that a bee dance is communicating travel information to its fellow bees, and quite another to be able to decipher the information itself. No researcher has yet been able to observe a bee dance and from that work out where the source of nectar is. This is because we cannot fully interpret the code the bees are using. Every form of communication relies on a code to transmit meaning. This is true of body language as well. We have to know what a shrug means in order to interpret it properly. What distinguishes human verbal language from any other variety is that the code it uses is much more complex. As a consequence, the range of meaning it can communicate is far greater. An animal gesture, or pant hoot, may convey feelings of great subtlety, but, as far as we know, cannot tell a fellow animal about feelings experienced yesterday, or hopes and fears for tomorrow or next week. But the language that we humans speak can. Only human language can range freely over time and space. This is a phenomenon known as displacement, and it is one of the distinguishing features of the language we speak. Every other form of language-like activity is tied to the here and now.